Welcome to Defense Talks and our Executive Spotlight series. We're here with Royce Resoso, Senior Director, Industry Strategy at Docusign. Royce, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Wyatt. Excited to be here.
So I'd like to start, how would you say that the Department of Defense, one of the largest organizations in the world, clearly, can be nimbler and more innovative?
So I believe one of the most compelling ways to make the DoD more nimble, which will open the doors to being more agile and more innovative, is by removing all of the friction from all the steps in the digital agreement process for all of its agreements, authorizations, and correspondence. And the reason why I use that phrase is because the DoD systems have multiple parallel systems, just like the American life: finance, retail, healthcare, professional military education. And so all of those systems revolve around agreements, authorizations, and correspondence, and they need to be fast, secure, and more efficient. And so if I look at just at the DoD and even federal government, we have over 28,000 forms. What I call DINOs, digital in name only, right? These are static PDFs that still need to be downloaded, printed out, signed, filled out, uploaded, and then emailed, right? So while that's better than an all paper process, it's still ridiculously slow, it's error prone, and again, very manual for all the parties involved. And so, if we converted all of those PDFs and enabled a digital agreement platform, and then converted those PDFs using a guided form solution so that these forms are now just intuitive, adaptive interviews. So what do I mean by guided forms? It would do three things. It would, number one, provide step-by-step guidance, interactive guidance of all the fine print of what you're signing on that form. It would push and pull data from an existing system that perhaps the DoD is already invested in. And the third thing, it would enable the user to sign that form using a CAT card, but also maybe over a mobile device or a smart web, easy to use web interface. And so I believe using a guided form solution to convert all of those PDFs, enabling a digital agreement platform would not just make the government or the DoD more nimble, more innovative, but it would transform the warfighter experience off the battlefield in their homes, in their personal lives too.
And then next, what emerging technologies are you seeing across the board, AI, 5Gs, and others, that you think will have the actual greatest impact on DoD's mission over the next few years?
Wow, great question. I believe artificial intelligence by far will have the most impact for the DoD over the next decade. Last year, the Deputy Secretary of Defense signed a memo to transform the DoD into a data-centric organization. So as the DoD moves towards data centricity and being more data-centric, it requires much more sophisticated tools to manage, extract, curate, analyze the big data and the metadata into meaningful and actionable insights for our leaders. And so I believe that's where artificial intelligence comes in. At Docusign, we have an artificial intelligence tool as an added capability to our contract lifecycle management product suite. It can manage hundreds, if not thousands, of contracts across a federal agency or a government contractor. So, for example, I was a DoD contractor, a KO for the DoD in Afghanistan. And I know that when the US government passed new legislation or published new regulations that impacted the terms and conditions of a contract, it would trigger a review process. And that review process was typically very manual. And so with AI, we can now analyze all of those agreements and quickly recognize which ones are in compliance, which ones are out of compliance, and then take action. Or better yet, have the AI tool automatically update that contract and make it fully compliant. And so I believe artificial intelligence goes hand in glove with being a data-centric organization. And that's why I believe over the next decade, it'll have the most impact for the DoD.
Well, Royce Resoso, thank you so much for joining us here at Defense Talks.